From now on, walk your own path. Not in the footsteps of your brother.
What is up, guys? This is DT Ninja here to bring you my Sasuke theory on, yes, walk your own path. Walk your own path. Now, this theory that I have, it bases around one central theme, and that is learn to make your own decisions. Learn to live life based off what you believe and not what other people tell you, because throughout the series, we'll notice that Sasuke has this reoccurring thing that happens to him, okay? First, you know, he's very happy, he wants to be like his brother, and all of a sudden, things change, you know, completely. That one night, everything changes, and that love for his brother becomes hatred, and that hatred turns into darkness. That darkness searches for power. When he searches for power, he searches for more answers. And when he searches for more answers, he finds disappointment. Because when he finds the truth out, you know, that he's disappointed because he wishes he could understand his brother. But at the same time, he can't. He can't understand him because he's just a kid, right? But now that he's older, he can understand. But it took all this time and all that effort that he spent, all those people he killed, all of the hatred that he had was just built up, you know, for that one moment to kill his brother. And when he finds out the truth, everything changes, you know, everything changes. It's not about killing his brother, it's about killing the people that are responsible for making his brother do what he did and making him out to be a criminal, you know, hiding the truth from him. And in actuality, Itachi is the one that told Lord Hokage not to reveal the truth, because he was fearing that could possibly happen, you know. So this idea of him, you know, looking for answers, searching for answers, and finding disappointment is a common theme for Sasuke throughout the story. Now, another thing for Sasuke is the fact that he keeps everything bottled up inside. After that night of losing everything, he bottles up all of his emotions, all his true feelings inside. Because as we see, once he's faced with death, okay, and I'm going to show you several examples faced with death, we will see that Naruto and Sasuke have this connection between each other. The very first time Sasuke and Naruto facing off against Haku, you guys remember this, right? Naruto and Haku are facing off, as well as Sasuke, and you have the crystal ice mirrors, right? Well, Naruto is, you know, doing the clone jutsu, the shadow clones, trying to find, you know, a weakness in there. Sasuke watching him, and he realizes, you know, if he keeps doing this, he's a dead man. So he steps in front of Naruto and saves his life. You know, he saves his life, and he's cut with the needles. And at that moment, the very first time I saw this, I was like, whoa, this is for real. I mean, Sasuke is dying here, and this was incredible, because then he says, you know, why did you save me, Sasuke? Why would you do such a thing? And he says that my body just acted on its own. There was no time to think. And that's a lot what happens when you're in a life or death situation. Your emotions come through in a life or death situation. And as we see throughout the story, that happens every time, guys. Not just during that. But right after that, we saw Sasuke telling, you know, my brother, he's still out there, you know, Naruto, don't let your dream die. And then he passes out. So that was incredible, guys. The next one is right when he's fighting Gaara. Okay, he's fighting Gaara, and Gaara is going crazy. He's destroying him, you know, and Sasuke, you know, he's like, I need more power, you know. I've used too much up, and he has the curse mark, you know, and that he's like, how he's talking about Naruto. You have to save Sakura. You have to save Sakura. And Kishimoto showed us these clips when we went to the Battle of the Valley of the End. He showed those clips of these emotions coming through of Sasuke, and it's really amazing because Sasuke is not an emotional guy, but when danger, when there's this life or death situation, he opens up, and we know how he feels. But he never shows it, he never shows it throughout the series, only in that life or death situation. And remember, he says, Naruto, you have to save Sakura, get her away as far as you can, get her, you have to save Sakura, get her away as far as you can, as far from here as you can. I'll hold him off from here. He says he's going to do it, but he passes out after that as well. So that was a life or death situation. Another one is when he, at the very end, right, when he faces Naruto, obviously his emotions come through, the truth comes through after he loses the final battle, but that's not really a loss. See, that was the thing. He thought he lost, and Naruto was just telling him, no, I just wanted you to open your eyes. It's not a loss. I did not win anything. The only thing that I really wanted was you to be you. And Sasuke really couldn't understand that because, what do you mean? Me to me, me? Who am I? He's still searching for the answer. Who is he? So it's very interesting as we see throughout the story how Sasuke's emotions come through and how, they're kept in all the time. So yeah, alright. The first part we're going to talk about is Brothers of Uchiha. So that's just kind of, a synopsis on Sasuke as a character. How he always searches for answers, searching for power because of someone else. Not because of him. He doesn't want power for himself. He wants power so that he can, rise up and destroy his brother. It's not just for himself. It's not for himself. The decision is not for himself. The decision is because Orochimaru thinks that it's best for him to do so. So he believes in his mind that he will get that power. He'll do anything he can to get that power. And that is why Sasuke does that. The same thing with Obito. Obito tells him to go, destroy Konoha. He didn't tell him to destroy Konoha, but that's what Sasuke wants to do. So Obito kind of, manipulates Sasuke, tells him all this, what to do and what not to do. And so we have this idea of Sasuke following other people rather than his own path. So that is the whole idea here. And as we go on, we see how it progresses and what happens to him. So, Brothers of Uchiha. The Brothers of Uchiha obviously is the relationship between Itachi and Sasuke. Sasuke and Itachi have this really great relationship to begin with. Their older and younger brother. He worships him like more than anything. He loves him more than anything, and he wants to be just like him. Always wanting, will you teach me your shuriken training jutsu? Can you train with me? Father's not that good at shuriken jutsu. And he tells him, I'm sorry, Sasuke, some other time. He tells him some other time, but it's actually, he's hiding the truth from him, that, he cannot spend a whole lot of time with him because he has the Anbu. He has this idea of, the clan being wiped out soon. So he's still, and I believe that he said that because he didn't know what he was going to say to Sasuke at that one point. At that one point, he was still thinking in his mind, what am I going to say to Sasuke when that moment comes? When he finds out that I'm the one that killed everyone in the clan, what am I going to say to him? Am I just going to say, this was a mission? Am I going to tell him, I'm a criminal? What am I going to say to him? And that's what I think. He figured out that if he said, he's a criminal, he could make Sasuke out to be the hero. And I think that is why he did it. He wanted Sasuke to be the hero. And yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible. But it caused Sasuke great pain, great suffering, right? And that is where, Naruto comes into the picture, because he relates to him. Alright, so that is the Brothers of Uchiha. I didn't want to get too much into it, the psyche of the Uchiha, the idea of their powers growing as trauma happens, the Sharingan awakening as a life and death situation, seeing someone die in front of them, this is the Uchiha. Now, as the story progresses, we see Sasuke changes from, the one who loved his brother to the one who hates his brother to the one who respects so much his brother that he would kill anyone who disrespected him. And that is where the problem lies with Itachi, because what he didn't understand is that if Sasuke found out the truth, that he would kill anyone responsible for, making his brother out to be the criminal. See, that was the big problem. And in the end, we all know what happens. He tells him the truth of what really happened, and Sasuke's eyes are open. Not only open, but also confused. It just brings more confusion, more questions, and he's always searching for something. Sasuke is always searching for something instead of living his life trying to find the answer himself. But I think that if Itachi would have given him the truth right up front, he would not have suffered the way he did, and maybe this Uchiha, curse would be not so bad. But I can't say that for sure, because we all know with Obito, with Madara, it was almost like reciprocal. It was all an endless cycle of hatred, and it was just continuous, and it's also Black Zetsu, he changed the tablet, so it's all a cycle, it's not all Itachi's fault, there's, everyone has a fault in it, everyone. So let's move on. In Search of Power. Okay, In Search of Power is obviously Orochimaru. Okay. So, when we talk about In Search of Power, we're talking about when Itachi says, "Come back and face me. When you have the same eyes as me, come back and face me." Only this many people have awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan. You must kill your best friend. That is how you awaken it. Now, then, the only way he could find the power was to leave Konoha. You guys remember this, where he leaves Sakura. And what's incredible about this, I want to point this out, is that he tells Sakura, you're annoying. This is the way he felt about her. She's always worried about him. But his real feeling inside, is thank you for caring about me. Nobody else really showed the compassion you have for me. But he never, obviously guys, he never shows his real emotion. And even after he, tells her, you're annoying and leaves, he tells her thank you. He at least was, courteous enough to say thank you and knock her out, But, I mean, at least he said thank you. So, and he says the same thing at the very end in chapter 699. He says thank you. And by the way, I have that here. I can show you. At the very end where he says the same thing. He says arigato right here. He taps her on the forehead just like Itachi used to do, and he says arigato. Thank you, Sakura. So we all know this was the path that Kishimoto was going to follow. But for Sasuke, In Search of Power, this power that he wanted was something he had to sacrifice. He had to sacrifice his body. This was the whole thing with Orochimaru. Now, let's see if I can find the part with Orochimaru. Yeah, here's Orochimaru, guys. In Search of Power. He's in search of power because, Orochimaru was this, this slippery snake, serpent, always wanting he wanted Itachi's body. He wanted his eyes. He wanted an Uchiha, their life force, just he wants to know all the jutsu in the world. So Sasuke was this person he always was after. And after he defeated Naruto at the Valley, you guys remember when he's fighting, you see the emotion coming through Sasuke, but as he's in his mind, he can feel the curse mark. He can feel Orochimaru talking to him, and he's like, you need that power. I can give you the power, you know? And he always tempts Sasuke. And we all know the power was something he was willing to, you know, go for no matter what. He wanted the power in order to stop Itachi. But then Itachi literally took that Orochimaru curse and, you know, made it disappear completely. So when you know, that battle happened, you know, Sasuke was really confused because all that time he went for that power because of Orochimaru, and then he just takes it away like he's trying to, you know, help him. So it was really confusing to him. But yeah, Orochimaru was after the Uchiha, after Sasuke. He was manipulating him. All he wanted was his body. You know, he wanted his body. He wanted his power, his immense Uchiha powers. So yeah, Orochimaru was this serpent. He still is. As we're going to see in Gaiden, I guarantee you he is still one of the villains. But yeah, that is what I mean by In Search of Power. Sasuke went for In Search of Power to take down Itachi. Now, when Itachi faces him, you know, the first time, he tells him, you don't have enough hatred. You don't have enough hatred. And he says, you never will. You never will. Now, see, this is where Itachi made the mistake, because he did have that hatred, more hatred. In fact, when Itachi died, he actually had more hatred because it was hatred towards everyone responsible for Itachi's death, not just Itachi. So one person as a revenge thing is one thing, but now you have an entire village, an entire, you know, everyone around him he sees as being blind to the truth. Even Kakashi doesn't know what happened, and he blames him. He's like, you're just mocking me, right? When he faces him in battle, he's like, you're mocking me. You're mocking the Uchiha. All you're laughing at Itachi. And like, this is the problem that Itachi created. So he should have told him the truth up front instead of creating this illusion. Now, what I do like is he hides truth within the words he gives him, okay? So some of the words he gives him are, you know, lies. You want hatred to kill me. That's not really what he wanted. But when he faces him in the battle, he tells him before they even fight. There's a very interesting, let's see if I can find it, quote from Itachi. He says, and I quote, every single one of us goes through life depending on and bound by our individual knowledge and awareness, and we call that reality. However, both knowledge and awareness are equivocal. One's reality might be another's illusion. We all live inside our own fantasies. Don't you think, Sasuke? Okay, guys. Itachi is not only revealing the truth that he is lying to him, but he's telling him, basically what he's saying is, you don't want to be like me, Sasuke. Please, I hope I can open your eyes through this battle that I want the best for you. Now, if you guys, it's really deep. That meaning is really deep because really, one's reality might be another's illusion. Sasuke believed that Itachi was, you know, this murderer, this really evil person, and it turns out he was protecting him all along. That's what he meant by one's illusion might be one's reality. And another thing, the illusion of Itachi being, you know, this hateful brother is all to protect Sasuke. And it's all an illusion because he wants him to open his eye. He wants to open his eyes that, you know, the real truth is that, you know, he wanted him to be a hero, right? But he didn't expect him, you know, to be outraged at the people that were unaware of the truth. So that was the main problem that was caused, you know, by telling Sasuke this. All right, moving on. Into the Darkness. Okay, Into the Darkness, we obviously go to Itachi's death and, you know, Obito's manipulation. So first of all, let's go to Itachi's death. because that is a memorable moment. Itachi's death. Let's see. First of all, we have the first one, the first death. Okay, Itachi's death is here. Let's see if I can get in closer. And yeah, this one where he says, "I'm sorry, Sasuke, this is it." Okay, so we all know that when Itachi died, Sasuke, was pleased. He was pleased, but he was also saddened at the same time. He was just, glad it was over. Like his life, was complete. That is all he lived for. Everything was in that moment. And that is why Obito took advantage of his, his sadness, his hatred for Itachi by telling him some of the truth, and that just awakened that massive anger and outrage in him, and that caused the problem, as he wanted to kill, Konoha. He wanted to destroy Konoha. Everyone responsible for not knowing the truth, for hiding the truth, and yeah, so that is where the problem lies. But as we all know, Obito, spread lies and truth as well, talking about the history of Madara and his brother. So it's almost like he's saying, you're very similar to Madara and Izuna. And as we all know, he said he was Madara. So he's like, my brother and I were very similar to you and Itachi. Okay? Itachi was after power, and so were you. But then he tells him, Itachi was not actually after power. He was helping you. So they're not like the same. But the way Obito told the story, he's like, wait, this sounds familiar. He showed him the history of their clan and what happened. So it just opened Sasuke's eyes to the real reality for the Uchiha. And it really, created a problem for Sasuke, because that is when he went into the darkness. That's when those eyes awakened. The EMS awakened. I'm sorry, not the EMS. The Mangekyo Sharingan awakened. So that is when, when he just went after everyone. We saw him go after B, we saw him go after A, we saw him go after Gaara, we saw him go after Danzo, we saw him go after Kakashi, we saw him almost kill Sakura, almost kill Karin, fighting Naruto. There was just so many times that Sasuke just lost it, at that point. He was in the darkness. Now, even though he was in the darkness, Naruto was the only one that could see that he's not a lost soul. He's not a lost soul. He's just taken the wrong path. He's come off the path that he was supposed to follow, and that Itachi wanted him to follow. So Itachi gave Naruto he gave him the torch. He wanted him to be the one to, steer him in the right direction. So, yeah, I hope you guys understand my feelings about that. Okay, so the next part is Truth in the Shadows. Truth in the Shadows. Now, the Truth in the Shadows refers to volume 60, volume 65. Yeah, 60. The History of Konoha, Sasuke's answer, the truth behind all of, the shinobi. What is a shinobi? What is a village? And, this is when we meet the Hokages, guys. The Hokages. And so Orochimaru is with Sasuke. And yeah, so this is the part where we learn more about the history of Konoha. Now, as everything ends, okay, after the battle, we hear Sasuke's answer. Now, I don't know if you guys know this. So, Hashirama says, your brother was an amazing shinobi, he's better than me. And so, I don't know if I could do what he did. And then he goes on to say, what is your answer, Sasuke? What is your answer? After hearing everything. And this is interesting because Sasuke actually is sympathetic to Madara's brother. And I will read it right here. It says, Ore no ani ga Madara no sorry about that, guys. Madara no otoko. Oh, sorry. Okay, so it says, I will read what Sasuke says to everyone. He says, Ore no ani Madara no ototo ga, soshite anta tachi ka mamoru to shite kita subete no mono o Muni Surimono Da. Now, what he means by this is, I will not let Madara's brother and my brother's sacrifices be in vain. So, he's actually sympathetic to Madara's brother. Madara's brother was, we don't know much about Madara's brother other than, he was like Madara. So, he's sympathetic to him after listening to Hashirama's story, so he's already thinking that Madara's brother was like me. He's already comparing himself to Izuna. And he's already sympathetic to him. If you guys didn't know that, he says Izuna, okay? So that is quite interesting. But it also reveals that Sasuke here is basing his answer off what he hears rather than what he should be doing, basing his answers off what his own decisions are. In other words, he should be going out and living his own life based on, it's okay to have story time and everything, but doing something yourself is going to change your answer. So one answer is going to be one thing you hear from one person. So first he listened to Orochimaru, what his goals are, what he was doing. He went for power. Obviously, he knew there was something else. And then we have Obito. Obito told him the truth with lies, manipulation. And now we have Hashirama, someone more trustworthy. However, the way it is explained, Hashirama makes it sound as if Madara is wrong. Madara is wrong for what he did, but at the same time, how can we know? Because he didn't live through that period. So what I'm saying is, he can't base his answer off just one story. If you base an answer off one story, then what is your life for? You have to live out. You have to do something and go out there and live life based off that answer. You can't just read a story and say, this is my answer for my life. I'm gonna change my life. That's not how it works. But that's how it's presented here, and that's what I'm trying to say. Sasuke did not change his answer just by listening to Hashirama. He did change, but in actuality, in his mind, he still believed that it's wrong. Everyone should know that Itachi was a hero, not a criminal. He wants everyone to know that, and he doesn't give a damn what other people think about him. So, yeah, and we'll see that throughout the fight with Naruto, as well as the fight with Obito and Madara as well, He finally says, I don't want to be anything like you, Madara, I don't want to be anything like you, as he's fighting him. And remember when Sasuke ends up dying, supposedly dying, right? We see, I'll show you, he says to his dying words, it's kind of like his dying words about Itachi here. He's like, I will not let your sacrifice be in vain, brother. I will become Hokage. And the idea of him becoming Hokage is based off of Itachi's dark past, based off what he learned from Itachi, what he learned from Hashirama. So what his father Fugaku was trying to tell him is, don't live your life based off on what other people tell you, because if you do, that is not going to shape who you really are. That's going to shape who they want you to believe you are. In other words, Orochimaru wanted him to believe, he's this great shinobi, and he's going to be a very powerful shinobi, when in actuality, he just wants him for his body, okay? Obito wants him to believe that, Konoha is responsible for everything, you can help me destroy Konoha, not that I'm going to betray you and, this and that, you know. And we all know Sasuke, you know, betrays Obito, right? He believes he's a traitor. But that's the whole idea behind my theory on that. All right, so my closest friend is the next one. My closest friend. My closest friend refers to Sasuke and Naruto's fight. Sasuke and Naruto's fight. So this is, you know, the fight between Naruto and Sasuke. Why, you know, right as they're fighting, we have this connection between them. Sasuke says, "You are my closest friend." Let's see if I can find that one, because that one actually is in part 1. Let's see. Sorry about that, guys. Ah, yeah, here we go. Yeah. "It's not insignificant to me. You are my closest friend." This is where he says it, you know, to himself, you know. "It's not insignificant to me. You are my closest friend." He tells Naruto this, and then they kind of connect to each other. They have this mind, you know, in the mind, and we see their suffering, their path, and what's going to happen in the end. So it's very interesting, but at the same time, this idea of him, you know, holding everything in, about wanting to be like Naruto, is everything is deterring him from this path to the answer that Naruto and Sasuke want because of what happened before. He's basing his answer off of everyone else. So Naruto is just another one of those people. Okay? To Sasuke, Naruto was just one of those people. One of those people like Hashirama, Orochimaru, all these, okay? But in actuality, Naruto was nothing like them. He's just trying to show him, you're not Sasuke. You're not Sasuke. He's not trying to, you know, tell him, you know, my mother was killed, my father was killed, this is what happened to me, this is why I'm suffering. He showed him through his mind. You know, they're connecting together. He didn't actually tell him what happened to his parents. You know, they're actually connecting to each other. And Naruto is the only one that really understood Sasuke. And Sasuke understood Naruto. But the thing is, Sasuke couldn't open up. He couldn't actually tell Naruto, I want to be like you. I want to, you know, open up to people. I want to have that connection that you have to other people, you know? That answer that you have to peace is something that I want, you know? But it's just so hard. It's so difficult for me because there's just so much darkness. I see the darkness all around, you know? And people are, you know, manipulating me left and right. And I just can't find, you know, the open door. The door, there's just so many doors everywhere. And I can't find the right path. So when we get to the final battle, guys, this is where, you know, the truth comes out. You know, Naruto and Sasuke, they fight. Naruto has the, let's see if I can find the, because, yeah, here we go. This is where Naruto says, right here, he says, Sasuke, you have to open your eyes. You're not you. I wanted this fight always, but not like this. You're not you. I wanted you to be you. Now, guys, Naruto actually says this in the first battle, which is really incredible. Alright, guys, so when the final battle happens, we have this clash between one who protects from the shadows to one who, you know, cooperates with everyone, you know, wants to connect with others and understand one each other, you know, and Sasuke doesn't want to do that. He wants everyone to understand him through, you know, being in the shadows, protecting them from the shadows, the idea of Itachi. So he's actually following in Itachi's footsteps, like his father warned him not to. So Naruto is the one who's saying, you know, Sasuke, you are not you. I always wanted to fight you, but not like this. You are not you. You are not you. And then we get that epic chapter where they're fighting all out, and, you know, Sasuke, eventually we have this flashback of them, you know, all Team 7, and then we have this idea of them together as Sasuke trying to kill him in the final blow. Naruto proves him wrong, as we all know. And we have this final clash. This final clash, guys. The final clash. And in this final clash, we have the same thing that happened. Let's see if I can get the other one here, because this is pretty cool. Okay, guys. So we have two of the same things here. Let's see if I can. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. So we have one here. Okay, that's the first clash. Here's the second clash. So we have two of the same exact things that happen. Kishimoto is connecting the two battles together. This is almost like we could see it happening. Okay, and then as it goes, we see Sasuke revealing the truth, you know, his real feelings, and, you know, he lost. You know, he says, I lost. And Naruto tells him, you didn't lose. I was just trying, you know, to help you. I was trying to show you that you're not you. So the whole idea of this theory is to show that Sasuke is not himself. He needs to, you know, live his life. And that is why I think he went off wandering, searching for the answers. Okay, he left Sakura. He came back after the last movie. And, you know, they got married. Maybe they didn't officially get married. Maybe they did. I think they did. I think they got married. They had a child. And he left in search of the truth. He left in search of the truth to find himself, you know, to track maybe the Akatsuki, or even, you know, find intel on Kaguya or Tenari, you know, to prevent any disaster from occurring again. So that is my theory on that. So now we move on to, and like I said, it was a promise, you know. He said he would return to Sakura, so it was a promise, and he wanted to be away from them because he needed to find that answer that he was searching for. He needed to find the path his father was telling him to walk, you know. And it's not just that, because the next part of my theory is the darkest night. The darkest night, that darkest night is the Uchiha Massacre. We go back to the Uchiha Massacre, the massacre that happened, and it changed everything about Sasuke's life. That night changed everything. Now think about where we are now. The exams, the graduation exams are now. They're now, right? Well, before the massacre happened, Itachi said, you know, but we can't have the meeting tonight. Sasuke's graduation is coming up. It's customary for our clan, you know. He says he's going to see his brother graduate. And remember, right after that, that is when the Uchiha Massacre happened. So think about this. Sasuke returns on that, very similar to that time where everything happened. So this could be almost like a memory of his, okay? And he's thinking, she's at that age where I was. Maybe she's the same age as me when I, you know, my life changed completely. So maybe he's going to make things right. He's not going to be like Itachi. He's going to tell her the truth. He's not going to keep it inside any longer. So, but in order to do that, he has to be of the right mind. He can't have any doubt, because if she, you know, comes at him like Sakura, then it could be trouble, because, you know, he could lie to her, you know, and keep it hidden, and this could just create more problems. So I think this is the time. And guys, this is crazy. So it almost, I'm not gonna say it's like an anniversary, because that just sounds terrible, but literally, it could be a memory in his mind that was the date that this happened. 12 years, you know, 12 years old. Now his daughter's 12 years old. It's almost the exact time the massacre happened. So this could be, you know, something that's going to change his life to, you know, help his daughter, you know, help the next generation, and change the Uchiha. Right? Because that night, everything changed about the Uchiha. Everything in Sasuke's life changed. So not only is he going to walk through Fugaku's words, like he's going to walk through his own path, but he's going to, you know, endure what his brother told him. He's going to go through with what his brother should have done. Okay, and that's incredible, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed my theory video on Sasuke. I know it's kind of long. Yeah, I wish I could have shown you a lot more pictures, but that's pretty much it. And yeah, have a great day.